Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that one, and we'll just keep this one. I'm going to adjust, let's see something real quick. I'm going to adjust the dripping rust here and rust spreading, let's take the spread down a bunch. Put the contrast down. And the drips intensity down a whole bunch. Leave the smooth strips. And you can adjust this if you want to, but and you don't even have to use it if you don't want, but I'm just going to throw that in there. And that looks fine. So another thing I want to do is, if you look, the rust is kind of cool. So like with my rust layer here on this one, actually I'll select the color here so I actually have it. I must have that on there. I didn't even realize. Cavities, that's why. So okay, so because I'm using that material, it already has a height attached to it. Would be nice is if actually on my paint here, where the metal's coming through, if I had it in there as well. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Man, I got like really stuck in there. Come on, back it up, back it up. Because it just looks not that compelling. So what I'm going to do is on this one, I'm going to go to my height and I'm just going to raise it up a little bit. That was too much. And that will make it look like the metal. Let's do 0.05. That's a little better. And that will make it look a little bit more like the metal is chipping away. So there's like a thickness to the paint. So now that the paint is somewhat raised up, right? It's kind of neat looking. All right. And what I'm going to do now, also my rust, is that there's just too much. Like, I think some of it's okay, but it's a little too much. So I'm just going to open up this, and I'm going to right-click on top of this, and we're just going to add a paint layer so I can paint on top of it. And I am just going to do this, and let's go down here, and we're going to add black. So Control right-click to raise the brush, and let's just do a basic hard. It's fine. And I'm just going to paint basically a lot of this rust out, because I don't feel like I need quite so much rust. I'm not going to worry about the windshields, because we're going to remove that anyway, so don't worry about that. But I just want to get rid of some of it, because I just feel like it's a little bit more than kind of what I was on board with. So the other thing is too, you know, when you have so much of it like this, it loses a little bit of its like individuality. Like if you can, you know, do it when people see this and stuff, and you see it in a video game or something, you've seen it so many times that you start to like, oh, that's a generic material. It's not creative or interesting. Okay. So I'm going to call that good as far as the paint job is concerned. We'll do a little bit more on it later, but I'm going to call that good for now. And I'm just going to work on painting some of the other stuff. So, for instance, these tires need to be done, right? So, like, this doesn't make any sense for what they currently are. So I'm just going to do those. I'm going to go to my materials, and we will get those done. So what's this one? Hover over it. Chainmail. It's not chainmail. Plastic, steel painted. I think, if I remember correctly, they don't have anything that's actually very artificial leather. No, let's not do that one. What's this one? I think I'm just going to do silicone coat. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to plop this up here. Now, with this, I only want it. Now it's going to cover the entire thing, right? But I only want it on the tires. And actually, I'm going to adjust it real quick here. So we're going to go down here. Let's see. Height range, normal intensity. Take the main color. I'm just going to bring it down a little bit more because I want it a little bit darker than that. I think attributes is always empty. Yeah. Channels mapping, that's fine. Take the roughness down. I don't need it that rough. Alright, It's not that great, but we're just going to call that good. I probably would adjust this more, remove some things and what have you. But anyway, what I want to do is I want it to only be on this. So what I'm going to do, we're going to do the mask thing. So I'm going to add a mask. So I'm going to add a black mask. So it's not in anything. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to not use the brush. We're going to use this one. This is the polygon brush. Okay. So this will paint triangles because if you remember, this is actually tessellated. Okay. I'm not squares, sorry. Triangles. This will do, right? This will do squares. This will do pieces of geometry. That one won't work because even though these are separate, it's still like kind of attached. So that's not going to work. What's best is this one. This one will use the texture space. So if I hit F4, you can see that I have these separated by islands. So it's really important that you make your UVs solid. Because what I can do is you can actually paint in here too. I haven't really been using it, but obviously this is a tire, right? So if I click on that, there you go. You'll see that that will paint that black. And I'm going to hit F4 to go back to the regular. And you say, ooh, painted black. And then I can also click on this. And you can see it did the whole thing. That's great. I don't know why, but sometimes it seems like to click all of it. Okay, good. So now we've got basically the tires, right? So I could do more with that. Whew, I'm just going to call that good, though. They look like they're flattening out, like they've been aged really bad, but you get kind of the idea. All right, so now what I'm going to do are these hubcaps. So let's do the hubcaps. So I'm going to go ahead and look for something. So what's this one? Platinum. Let's see. They must have like a chrome, right? Iron powder. I think I saw chrome before. Aluminum. Denim rivet. Cobalt pure. Let's do cobalt. That sounds nice. Okay. So we got this cobalt pure, which I actually don't really like, but I'm just going to stick with it because I don't feel like dealing with it. That's great. Same thing again. I'm going to do mask. We're going to add a black mask. And I'm going to use that same tool. And I'm just going to paint this. Alright, so I just click on that. Click on that, and you can see it. Sometimes you have to do it a couple times. There we go. I think I got the inside of that too. And I think that one's also good. Alright, so now we've got that cobalt. I'm going to click on the material here. What they got for options? It's really not that great. I'm going to go ahead and put height on there. And normal. And roughness, metallic. Let's see. Let's choose a different material. Let's try aluminum. I don't really like this weird rough thing that's going on in there. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Let me see something. Ah, it's that one. Okay. So this is unfortunately overriding the, this is getting this rust from this one here. I thought when I added that it would override it, but apparently not. Okay. So I might actually have to open this up and then on the rust here, go through and on the paint this. Let's see. X. It's working on that. Might have to do this one too. Let me see. That's this. Oh well. All right. We'll come back to it. All right. So we've got basically our tires now. We'll come back to it. We need to do the headlights and the various other things here. So, yeah. Let's see. Plastic cables. Plastic grid. Let's see. Large rust zipper. Those are all our regular materials. Let's see. Let's pull this up a little bit. Can I pull you up a little bit? There we go. And trying to find a material that would be good. Let's just use this, I guess, for the window for now. Alright. And again, we're just going to go ahead and add a mask, and we'll add a, no, sorry, we'll add a black mask. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use this again, and I'm going to use the texture version, and we will paint that. And we'll paint the inside too. Alright. Good. Okay. So now we've got the window painted. That's good. Let's do the seats. So there's actually this, oh no, actually there was a pleather one. Iron, chainmail, plastic, where was that? Fake denim. Is that what it says? Fake denim base. I was looking for... Where is that? Fabric suit, fabric rough, fabric denim. I saw you earlier. Leather, oh here we go, leather rough. Well, we'll just do this leather soft one. And I'll just change it to black. So, it was like a leather one that I wanted. It was like fake leather or something. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, let's see. Roughness. Not that one. Take the roughness down. Height, position, height, range. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and mask this guy, add a black mask, right? And then we'll again use this, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint it onto, not that part, this thing. Alright, oops, I did not want that to be part of it. There we go, and I just painted white. I said X, it finally worked. Okay, so that will be those. Oh, I was going to change the color of it too. Whoops. And I want it to be more of this like dark gray brown thing. Good. Okay. And let me see. Scale. Let's see. Can I up you to 128? It's a little bit high. And we're going to just go up a little bit. Oops, that was too much. It's like a sweet spot. We'll go with that. That's fine. Okay. So you can see we're kind of getting a car going here. I am going to pause it and just make materials for the rest of it. But it's basically the same process. I'm just going to basically cut each section down and go from there. Alright, so at this point, I more or less got the base textures down. Just applied them like I showed you before. I'm just thinking maybe I might be able to just get rid of the rust stuff here. So, let's see. Well, actually, I don't really care. We can do it later. Okay, so besides that, it might be nice to maybe add some, I don't know, other things on here, like maybe an emblem or something, as well as just do general painting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up here, and we've been doing a lot of fill layers. Let's just go ahead and we'll just do a layer, right? So it's just a regular layer that you would just paint on. There's really not anything special. I'm just going to go ahead and use an alpha, and I'm going to look at these alphas here, and let's see. I don't know, we'll use this. Let's just say like this is what I want to use. Alright. Okay, so we'll go like this, and I am going to hold Control, right click, and then if I go down here, you can actually see we can rotate this as well. Where's the rotation? Right here, angle. Let's do 90, and that was the wrong direction. I don't know if I can do minus 90. Is that possible? I cannot, so I guess we gotta do 270. 270. Okay. So we'll just do, and I'm gonna do this in, let's go down here. I'm gonna do it in black because that just seems cool, and I'm gonna make it slightly upraised, and yeah, let's go like that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and let's make this a little more straight. And let's see, orthographic view, and I'm gonna hit F to frame. There we go. So go like this and control right click, and we're just gonna go boop. Oh, that looks great. Now it's just taking a long time. Come on, computer. There we go. Okay. And then we're just gonna go over here, and I'm just gonna hold Shift. Okay, that was not something I wanted to do. Okay. So I'm still in orthographic view. One thing I want to do though is I want on both sides. So I'm going to go over this, and this is actually symmetry. And then for this way, I'm just going to look for something that makes sense. It doesn't really need to make sense. We'll just do warning, like it's dangerous. Alright, actually, you know what? People always do flames. I'm going to be pro Mother Earth, and I'm going to do recycle, because my car is going to be eco-friendly. So I'm just going to click, boom. Did that paint on the other side? It sure did. Alright, good. Okay, so you can kind of see you can use these basically to paint those things there. Another thing that might be kind of neat is, what if I try to make sort of like a bolts thing there? So there you are. Alright, so take this guy here and let's go. So if you start to rotate and then hold Shift, it will snap. I'm going to hold Control right click to make this smaller. I'm going to take this height and bring it up a bit more. Then, so we're on symmetry, which is going to do it both. But if you click on this, you can actually do radial symmetry. And I think it's, I don't remember which one. Maybe it is Z. I can't remember. Let's see. Oh, it was that one. Okay, so I needed radial symmetry in Z. And what it's going to do is it's going to try and draw across. Now, unfortunately, because it's, oh, it did do it on the other side too. Oh, it did it on all of them. There you go. So now I've got bolts. Which is cool. So those are put on there too. Yay. Alright, so we've got that kind of going on. That looks kind of neat. Let's go to the particle brushes, and let's just do, actually, you know what, let's not use any of those brushes. I'm just going to go to the regular brushes here, and we can just do another, it'd be good to name the layers. I'm just going to do another layer here, and I'm going to turn the symmetry off in general, and we're just going to go like this, and I'm going to turn this back to perspective view. Oops, and hit F for frame. Alright. Okay, so oops, looks like I got some extra bolts up there. So you can see I have these extra bolts up here, so what I can do is go to the layer that they're on, such as they are there, and then all I got to do is just go to the eraser and go whoop, and I could just, oops, I forgot that was drawn that layer too. And we'll just erase those out. They might be on some other spots too. Looks like we're okay. Alright, so from here, what I would do basically is just paint this further, maybe play around with materials a little bit more, so on and so forth. It definitely needs a lot more work, but I don't want to make like 1,000 million videos and have you get bored with it, so there you go. I'm just going to trash this guy. I would highly suggest just going online, and you can probably find some tutorials. I don't care how you go about making it. I just want you to try and use this program because it's definitely got some like nice little quick shortcuts, and this non-destructive manner in which it works is pretty useful. And there are so many settings that you can manipulate to try and get the look that you're looking for. It's particularly really good at making things look weathered, and in 3D that's super important because when you make things in 3D they typically are perfect, and normally in life you try to make things perfect, but that's actually something you don't want to do in 3D because things are not perfect. So anyhow, that's what I want you to do. Alright, so we're going to do from here, what I want you to submit is actually going to be a couple things. First, I want you to, you should have been doing this anyway, we're going to go ahead and save this, Control S, Control S, file, save. Just make sure it's saved. Okay, so save the file. Besides that, and that should be saving to that Maya project folder. We're also going to, you don't need to do this, I'm just going to show you. So what you want to do when you're done is you're just going to go to export textures. This is how you bring it into Maya. And then they have output templates, and then you can see there's all these different options. So if you're doing Unity, they're here, but you'll see there's actually Arnold. So you can select the Arnold template, which is pretty cool. And then go to list of exports. When you're done, it'll show you all the maps that's going to export. And it's going to tell, right now, if I go to my settings, which this is like my global settings, it's going to go to the export folder thing here. Like it's export, so you can switch that here if you want. I'm just going to let it export to this. And then you would just hit export, and it will export them. I'll just go ahead and do it. Let's see how long that takes. It's going pretty fast, actually. Great. And I can open the output folder. Then I would take these. Just going to grab them all. Control C. And then I would go to the project folder. You go to your source images. And you can see I did this already earlier. And I would Control V to paint them. And then they would be in there. Okay. And you can see basically it gave me a color map. It gave me a height map. It gave me, what is that one? My metallic map, a normal map, and a roughness map. Okay, and basically you just plug those into the standard material inside of Maya, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's how you would do that if you want to do that. But what I want you to do is save this, give me this file, because I'll just open this file, it's just easier. The other thing I would like you to do is if you go to this is the iRay, I think they call it. Basically, it's like a built-in renderer. It's very similar to Arnold. You're going to see it actually is based off of sampling and things like that. So when you go to do it, though, what you want to do is you'll see it says minimum samples is 5, max is 1,000. It's saying done because the time here is at 10 seconds. So maybe make this like 60 seconds. So it's like a minute. And then once it takes a minute, you'll see that this image will become less and less noisy, right? Because it will basically do its best to render it out, right? And like I said before, it's actually very similar to Arnold. So, anywho, once the iRay is done, I'm just going to pause it. Come on, stop. Okay, once it's done, all you're going to do is just save the render, and maybe if you could do a couple renders, you just click Save Render, save the render, and just submit those JPEGs as well. So maybe give me a couple of shots. So just, maybe like a front 3/4, a back 3/4, things like that. Render them out. Also send me this file, and I will take a look at it. And what I would like you to do is maybe try to be a little bit more, explore a little bit more. So let's click out of this. So we save that, and then because I actually do I have my other one car test. So like I did a version of this earlier. I decided not to go with this one. That was a little bit. I don't know. I liked it a little bit more actually. It's a little more fun. But I went with more of like trying to make it look like a wooden car. As soon as it loads up. I was just testing with some stuff here. But you can see like this, I made it look more like it was this like wooden looking car thing. So instead of doing the metal, I did like the wood material, and I played around with like kind of messing with that sort of stuff. And I kind of like the way this, I like the way this one actually looks a little bit better than the other one. So, go ahead and do your own play on it. It doesn't have to be exactly how mine is. I really want you to just explore and see what, you can do with it. All right. But basically, and it doesn't have to be a car. It doesn't have to be this car. It could be whatever you want. You could take really any kind of object. But utilize the smart materials, utilize, you can even see this is actually fewer things. Utilize all of the various things, go on the internet, explore it. It's a really nice program. All right. So if you have any questions to get stuck, just let me know.